If you want to get in the groove, mask up to get down, and make sure you stay 6 feet from stardom. Today, on A Place of Our Own, blessed we all should be to have a heaven-sent babe like Katie Brown adding some more sun to our Sunday school teachings. It's all coming up next. What's up? I'm Pete Charles Sesko, and welcome to Thrift Store Rundown's Place of Our Own, a place designed for any millennial or baby boomer who wants to bring Hollywood home on a budget. As you know, every interaction you have with your favorite celeb or fellow fandom friend is a very important learning opportunity. So when it comes to educating yourself about the wonderful world of pop culture, we're all in this together. That's right, TSI is your first and coolest teacher. Let's be honest, even with its contemporary music-based worship service, Sunday school isn't where it's at. I used to dread going to church every Sunday morning when I was a kid, so much so that I cried all the way there every single time. However, with a father who's a born-again Christian and myself a person of growing faith, I believe whatever we can do to liven up any religious teachings should be considered essential. And I have an expert who you didn't know could liven things up in Sunday school. The goddess of television domesticity and my first television crush, Katie Brown, in her book, Dare to See, Discovering God in the Everyday, purchased off of Amazon for $14.07, published by FaithWords, the faith-based division of the Hatchet Book Group. I'm going to hand this over to Katie now so she can explain more about this book and what you're going to get inside of it. And even if you're not a person of growing faith, I still hope that you'll find Katie Brown's journey to becoming Katie Brown Inc. to be quite the memorable one. That is, if you're willing to dare to see this edition of the Thrift Store Rundown's Place of Our Own.
Hi, my name is Katie Brown, and I'm a lifestyle expert. I like to think of myself as a lifestyler, and I am incredibly blessed because for a living, I actually get to focus on all things cooking, gardening, and decorating, and how to turn your house into a home, and how to create family memories, and I mean, everything I love, I get to focus on every single day. And I've made a bit of a pivot in my career, and my new book is all about God. It's called Dare to See, Finding God in the Everyday. And it's a collection of over 30 little short stories of moments in my life. Oh gosh, I'm gonna try not to get emotional. About moments in my life where I've been, like touched by grace or had a moment of extreme feeling that God was right there with me. And they've been in sometimes very small moments, sometimes very big moments. Sometimes I've been really grateful to get them. Other times I didn't even want to look at them, I've been fortunate enough to be walking in my faith and with God since I was a little girl. Like, I don't ever remember not having faith or not believing there was something bigger than me or something looking out for me or something taking care of me. So I've always had this kind of ability, I guess, and habit of believing that nothing was an accident. And so when these stories or these moments or these events, sometimes, like I said, sometimes tragic, sometimes hysterical, sometimes unbelievable, sometimes very ordinary, the book kind of runs the gamut. When I've had these moments, they've just always stuck with me, and they've always informed kind of the way I live my life. And so I guess maybe it's getting older, or maybe wanting to leave something behind that meant more than just, listen, I love arranging pine cones and coming up with a new chocolate chip cookie recipe or a new frosting for a birthday cake. But all of that happens because I have this incredible faith that it's all, for me, something deeper. This story kind of takes you through those moments in my life, and each story starts with a Bible verse, and then the story comes up, and then at the end I ask you some questions like, You know, when have you ever walked out in nature and felt like you were singing along with all the birds in the trees? Or, you know, it's a question that has something to do with the story. And then I ask you to kind of reflect on how to strengthen that habit of daring to see and finding these moments in the way you walk through life, because I think it makes it a little bit better and a little bit more special, and it's certainly a less lonely way to go for me.
So now that you know how this book operates, I want to highlight two of my favorite chapters in here, and they both have to do with family and the creation of a family. This chapter so happens to deal with a comment that a hospital nurse said to Katie about her adopted daughter Meredith upon her first gaze at her, commenting on her race. Do you know that your baby's black? Yeah, so what? Do you know that your baby's black? It doesn't matter to Katie if Meredith's race was, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Chinese, Mexican, whatever. Meredith is Katie's adopted daughter. This chapter begins upon meeting her birth mother, Misty, and Misty's mother, Meredith's grandmother. This chapter is about an unshakable faith between a mother and her child, whether made from blood or adopted. So, here are the questions for that chapter. When have you been stunned by judgment, in this case racial judgment, that in turn has served you well? And now these days, racial judgment has no place in our society. How did God lead you through this experience? How did that offense become a gift? I strongly encourage some really well thought out responses and one straight from the heart in the comment section below. Then, put your responses into practice. Confront evil with faith in order to recapture a godly love that will bring you a deeper perspective. Another chapter I want to highlight in here is Lawn Arms. Get this. She and her husband, William Corbin, executive producer for Katie Brown Workshop, met through being set up by A&E executives. Look at these big wigs at A&E trying to be matchmaker. Well, in this case, it played out beautifully. Most of the time, it just ends in catastrophe. But out of that setup came Prentice Crockett Corbin, her blood daughter and eldest daughter. And I have to say, upon looking at Instagram photos from KB Workshop on Instagram, very beautiful. And also, the adopted daughter, Meredith. Trust that no matter what direction your self-defeating might take you, God will use it to move you closer towards your potential. So, upon further reflection, ask yourself, how have your missteps been a blessing in shaping your priorities? How has God's grace shined you through your missteps and straightened your discernment? How has the comprehension that came from your stumbles been a gift? Value the realizations of the heavenly qualities of your life experiences and your loves that have come from the mistaken directions you have gone in your life. Know that when you walk with God, your blunders may very well be none other than your blessings that can teach you how to get closer to your dreams. The essays in this book are divided into various human emotions such as doubt, hurt, defeat, hope, abundance, love, and understanding. I wish that this book had a photo inset, maybe a couple or more photos at the very least, but sadly, this book is devoid of any other than the cover photograph of its, I'm sorry to say this if it might be a sin, very sexy cover star. My 8-year-old had the hots for Katie Brown upon extensive viewings of the Katie Brown Workshop. My 8-year-old self, not my 8-year-old child. Actually, when I was 8 years old, the child that I was a long time ago had a big crush on Katie Brown. She was my first television crush. I talked about that in extensive detail in the introduction for my first day of summer video, where I reviewed 3 of her books. Link below if you want to check that out. If you are the one who studies Sunday school, well, I believe that this is a very good supplement to have. This is also a very good supplement for those who are non-church goers, but do have a rock-solid faith or a building faith, kind of like I do. There is only one choice. It is that simple. I choose to believe that this, even though the author might disagree because I'm definitely tagging her in this, that this is a hardcover sermon with Katie Brown preaching the way. This will pierce your heart at times, but you'll also have fun along the way, and you'll come out of this, hopefully, enlightened above all else. I believe it is an excellent choice to pick up this book, for it truly is a rock-solid touchstone or catalyst to discover your own rock-solid faith. Not bad for a woman who spent 20 years decorating pine cones and baking chocolate chip cookies for a living. But you know, by the way, that Prentice M. Brown, Kitty Brown's grandfather, was a former vice presidential nominee, not to mention a U.S. congressman and senator. Miss Brown and Mr. Brown, we appreciate your services to America. Class is dismissed for the day, but if you missed any classes, get caught up by clicking the link in the description below, which will take you to the Too Cool for School playlist, which also includes videos from last year's series. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to subscribe for when it comes to bringing Hollywood home and to the classroom on a budget. TSR is your first and coolest teacher. We'll see you next time on the flip side, on A Place of Our Own.